and welcome to 100% Real with Tom Bainbridge and Ruby, where we beat the wellness wankery and we turn it into anti-bullshit industry bullshit, because it's just rife out there, and it just never ends. It's hormones, it's menstrual cycle, this is how you have to eat, this is how you have to train. And if you don't do it this way, then you don't have willpower, you're not disciplined, you need to cut your carbs, you need to clean eat, and the list goes on and on and on and on. But hey, Tom.
Yo.
You should not rely on motivation. You just need more discipline, bro. You need more discipline and more willpower. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so like that distinction does my head in. Motivation and willpower and all of that, people try to draw these distinctions and they just don't exist. Motivation and discipline are basically the same thing. It's just that people have decided to delineate the two because it sounds good. So all motivation is a positive mental state that you achieve when you are moving towards a goal that is meaningful to you. And all discipline is the ability to motivate yourself, shall we say, for the time being, in order to do something that you don't want to do. So that's the distinction people draw. They're like, you can't rely on motivation because motivation's fleeting. You have to be disciplined and do things when you don't want to do. But that fundamentally misinterprets what these two things are, because motivation and excitement are not the same thing. To be motivated towards doing something is the ability to do it. If you are not motivated, you physically can't do things. That's not how human psychology works. Like the motivation that you experience is the thing from your brain that makes your arms move, that makes your legs move, that walks you into the gym. And so the reason I think this is important is because if people think of motivation as this like excitement thing, motivation's only going to last for the first like 1, 2, 3 weeks of doing anything. You first start a diet, you first start training, you're really excited because it's this new big change. It's this thing that's going to be amazing. And it's also really easy as you're sort of nearing towards your goals, because you can see the end, it's in sight. It's like, oh, things are going really well, blah, blah, blah. In the middle of those two things is this like big dead space where all you're doing is eating a bit more protein, eating a few more vegetables, saying no to pizza a bit more often, and going to the gym 3-4 times a week. And that needs to become almost like this boring routine. And that doesn't mean you've lost motivation. Being bored of it doesn't mean you've lost motivation. All being bored of it means is like that's what it feels like. That's what this whole process feels like. And to say, oh, well, you just need to be disciplined, all we're basically saying there is you need to be more like me because I'm great and I'm cool and I can grind through this and I'm hardcore. It's just that. Like, if you're doing something, you are de facto motivated towards it. And so what you need to do is, rather than trying to find this discipline, trying to find this special thing, you just need to make the action that you're taking meaningful enough to justify the effort. And that comes down to like goal setting and the mindset behind what you're doing and all of that. I mean, Ruby, with your training personally, like, why do you do it? What is your reason for training?
I think this particular question is something that a lot of people miss out on, the real aspect of that question, which is your reason why you do something, or your motivation to do something. It never remains the same as it started. So it's okay to need that motivation to get going. But this is also where having a coach and having guidance can really help you in the process, so that you don't fall to the same traps and holes that many of us fell into. Like with me, mine was toxic to start with. I needed to actually, no. It started from a really good place. And as you heard in literally the podcast episode before this one, as soon as I fell into dieting for stage and seeing myself get leaner, I felt like I needed to have another comp date in order to stay motivated, in order to not give up, in order to not get fat, lose progress, to stay motivated, because otherwise I'm going to fall off, I'm going to get lazy. And I feel like a lot of people do that in other ways, in terms of, hey, I'm going to commit to this challenge, which coming into the end of the year, it's going to be something that strikes at you at the start of the year. Hey, I need this. Otherwise, I'm not going to stick to it. I need something to keep me to my goals. And that's all well and good if you know how the process works. Like now, to answer that question in proper detail, it's not about why do I train? It's about why not? Why wouldn't I train? Because training has given me the confidence I have now. I can't imagine a life without being as fit and as confident and as healthy. The way that it leaks into my day, the structure that it gives my day, like the way that I feel, just I don't know, like it's just so different when I hear people talking about certain things online. It's like I can't even resonate with a lot of the stuff because it's like I don't allow myself to get into a state where I'm hungover, for example, or when my gut is doing explosives in the toilet because I ate freaking Mexican with cheese, but then I added more cheese and then more chili, and then my gut's just like, hey, you just gave me too much chili. I don't know, I just made something up, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like
Yeah.
That's not how I want to feel. I don't want to be getting sick all the time. Like I only just got sick 2 weeks ago and the cough lasted freaking 3 weeks. I still have a little bit of the cough today. It's really frustrating. But I got over the big part of the sickness in 2 days. Whereas people are usually at 4 weeks. And I like even right now, because my downfall, I know this is extending the question, but I feel like this is really important to the whole pertinent the pertinent topic of motivation, willpower, discipline is like when you know the cost of inaction and you compare that to the cost of action, it doesn't just become something that you need to force yourself to do anymore. It's that you rather do it than have the alternative. And I kind of forgot that first train of thought, but in knowing how I feel in this current state and not having it tied to me depleting myself, running myself down like so many people do, it's no wonder you lose motivation because you keep it. It's almost like I made this analogy of, you know, when you're mountain bike riding and you put it onto like a trainer and you just cycle while you're on the trainer in your garage. It's just like, okay, I'm not going anywhere. Like this bike isn't leaving. I have to start cycling harder. Your heart rate goes up more. Okay, this isn't working. Maybe if I turn up the gears, it can go faster. You're still on the fucking trainer. You're not going anywhere. And that's what we do to ourselves. We are putting in more and more effort thinking, hey, if I just try it this one more time or try it this way or cut more carbs, then I can actually get somewhere. Yeah, you're getting yourself closer and closer to a friggin' burnt out candle. That is why you can't stay motivated. That is nothing to do with discipline. I mean, if I had to wake up, put myself on the trainer and do that for an hour with my heart beating out of my chest with no real value attached to that. Like if you're a mountain bike competitor that gets trophies and gets paid to do that shit, there's that motivation for you. You're getting paid for it. You're getting rewarded for it. So yeah, you're going to wake up and you're going to annihilate yourself on the bike because there's a reward for it. But most people listening to this podcast do not get that at the end. You can relate this to anything, not just the mountain bike ride. But this is what people do with, I remember speaking to a lead ages ago, and then I followed up with her about a year and a half after our first call, and she was still going through the same cycle. And this is the thing. You keep yourselves stuck in that cycle. You're not stuck. You choose to stay there. And that is hard to hear and hard to swallow. But there is another way. And understanding that gives you so much ownership because she showed up with the pure intention of, I'm going to do 30 minutes on the treadmill, 30 minutes on the Stairmaster, 30 minutes on the rower, 30 minutes on the bike while my husband does his 2 hours of weights. And then I'm going to go home. And she had zero motivation for it. She ended up busting her knee, having to take 3 weeks out and then go back to the gym to do that same thing. Like, Tom, would you be motivated to wake up to just slave away to cardio because you want to lose fat?
Of course not. No one would. Like, it would be impossible. And as you say, it's like when if the thing that you're doing makes you miserable, it's not a surprise that you're not going to be motivated to do it. And you can watch as many like motivational memes as you want, and you can try and talk yourself into discipline. Like, the fact is that nobody who has been looking after themselves for a really long time is miserable along the way. And it doesn't matter how you try to mold your motivation into discipline. It doesn't matter how you try to grind your way through it and think, oh, well, the outcome's worth it. Like, a lot of the time, the outcome is not worth it if it is making you miserable along the way. Like, the most motivated people are not motivated because they are better than you. They're not motivated because they are the elite fitness people who just do the right thing and grind through it even though they hate. They do it because they enjoy it. Like those people who dive in ice baths in the back garden and say, "Oh, start my day with the hardest thing." That's not the hardest thing anymore. You enjoy doing that. And it's the same thing as people who like I train 4 times a week, have done for years, and people are like, "Oh, how do you stay motivated?" And it's like, this is not difficult. I look forward to doing this. Like, I enjoy this. I'm not better than you because I train. Like, this is fun. And the secret, therefore, is to find a way to make your training fun, or to do something that's fun in the gym. And if you're going to the gym and you're doing 20 minutes on the cross trainer, 20 minutes on the bike, 20 minutes on the rowing machine, and then finish by walking on the treadmill, it's not surprised that you can't stay disciplined. That's miserable. Nobody's going to stick to that.
And this is why having a performance mindset is so important. And I remember talking with Tom back in our first episodes. This is why asking, am I focusing on fueling for my performance? What did I eat before I trained? How did I replenish myself? How am I recovering? Because when all your questions are around your performance and enhancing that, I just said this on a phone call I just had. When you're focusing on leveling up your performance, your physique is bound to follow, because you don't diet on muscle. You don't wave a wand, abracadabra, and poof, muscle. You build that on you, and people do not realize that that is how you build the body. It is not through dieting. Yeah, I know they look lean. Yeah, I know they look skinnier, leaner, smaller, more defined, less flabby, whatever you want to call it, than you. But that is not dieting there. And the reason I say that is because that's what I used to think. I used to freaking, what's her face, Megan Fox and Lara Croft and Miranda Kerr on my walls, thinking I just need to diet myself. Well, I would not put Miranda Kerr up there anymore. She has no muscle. I love you, Miranda, but no. Regardless, it's when you're excited to get, well, not really excited to get out of bed if you're gonna go to work and you hate your job, but that's another thing. Like, would you still get up out of bed to go to your job when you don't feel like it? But you get paid for that because you need to keep a roof over your head. We aren't getting paid to train, but we are getting paid to train to build muscle, in terms of it is our 4-1K, 4-10K. I don't know what you Americans call it. We call it superannuation. It is your superannuation. It is your muscle of youth. Muscle makes you younger. But we were going to talk a lot about how perfectionist impacts your mental well-being, how perfectionism leads to this cycle of lacking motivation, because you're putting so much pressure on yourself. And when you put so much pressure on yourself, you're setting yourselves up to fail, because the second that you do not meet this unrealistic standard that you set, or do things perfectly, or the minute that your kid cries for an extra 5 minutes and now you're 5 minutes behind schedule, things aren't perfect anymore. And now what's the whole point? You can't get to the gym on time. What's the whole point going? This whole thing just bottles up in your head, and kaboom, end of plan, and we only just started. How can we redefine discipline to make it more approachable? And what are the downsides of striving for perfection in everything?
Good question.
I mean,
so here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. It's really easy to draw up this theoretically perfect plan for yourself. So it's very, very easy to say, I'm going to hit my calories every day, or if you're not counting calories, I'm going to prep my food and make sure I've got everything ready. And then I'm going to go to the gym 4 times a week. I'm going to go to bed on time, and I'm going to do all of the things that the people on Instagram who tell me I need to be disciplined tell me that I need to do. And that'll work for a little while until life's not perfect anymore. And the honest truth of it is, you will almost never have optimal conditions for training. You, as an adult in 2023, are almost never going to be sleeping enough if you've got a normal job and you've got kids. You're almost always going to be slightly too busy. You're always going to pick up little niggles because you were out playing with your kid and you turned your ankle on a pavement, or you've got a bit of a cold because there's something going around the office. And training will never be perfect. You'll miss sessions, you'll cock meals up, you'll go to birthday parties. And the problem with the all or nothing mentality is that it only will work if you live in this perfect vacuum that does not exist. You need to thrive in imperfection, or you will never get anywhere. It's as simple as that. Like, you just can't have the perfect. And if you require the perfect to take action, like, you've got no chance. No chance at all. It'll never, ever, ever happen. And so the people who are most successful in fitness or nutrition or anything like that are not the people who are able to construct the most perfect strategy. They're the people who are able to adapt a good enough strategy around the challenges that actually occur within day-to-day life. Because the ability to do that is going to be infinitely more useful for long-term progress than is, for example, an ice bath in the garden, or the discipline that is required to get up half an hour early and read for 20 minutes before the kids get up. Like, all of those things are really nice to talk about, but the vast majority of people who post about them are entrepreneurs who are on good money and have like a very, very easy life. If you work a 9 to 5, or God forbid you work shifts, I have clients who work in hospitals that work 12-hour shifts 4 days a week. Like, how is this person going to wake up half an hour earlier so that they can read, and then they're going to go and do some yoga or sun their butthole or whatever it is that you're expected to do? Like, no, the people who are successful adapt a good enough program around the shit that gets thrown at them, and they just do that consistently for 20 years, and they get to a pretty good place. And I think fitness, it should be way more about that than the 4 a.m. grind set thing.
See, I think that is a really good point, because it's not perfect if it's not realistic. Think of a tree. A tree is not perfect because it is cement straight, cement stuck. Because as soon as a storm comes, as soon as a gale comes, a cyclone, whatever you guys call it over there, that tree is going to snap. It's going to go because it's not resilient. It doesn't flow in the winds. Perfectionism does not exist. Resilience is the true goal. You want to be resilient through whatever life throws at you. And setting realistic expectations is the first step to moving away from all or nothing thinking. But above all of that, it's emotional awareness. Because when you feel like life is out of control, you become more critical of yourself. When you have no structure, when things are going chaotic and you don't know what you're doing, you're going to fall back to what you know. And what you know obviously wasn't serving you. What you know is your prior self, which you are trying to start moving away from. And the only way you can start moving away from that is one step at a time. You need to break tasks, break goals into smaller steps, and instead of setting goals, set visions. It is like moving east. You never hit some east point. It is a direction that you move in, and you will always get setbacks. You will always get setbacks. Those setbacks grow you. You learn about yourself. And the only way you do that is with mindfulness, with emotional awareness, and understanding and being kind to yourself, knowing that emotions happen because you're human, not judging yourself for them, because you can't have introspection if you're going to judge yourself for it. Because the moment you judge yourself for it, the moment you're going to start beating yourself up and keeping yourself stuck anyway. So it's not like motivation exists on a spectrum. There's intrinsic, extrinsic, there's forced, and you can fall anywhere among that spectrum depending on what you need to have those meaningful goals that aren't set in some arbitrary outcome, but more so, how do you want to feel and what brings you enjoyment? Because you can slave away all you want, but if you're slaving away on your way to whatever place it is, who wants to be a slave forever? That's just like walking through life with chains on. It's walking through life with with your speakers off. That isn't enjoy, like that is not something you'll enjoy whatsoever. So I guess a great way to sum this up is understanding that the pursuit of excellence is not the pursuit of perfection, because perfection is the opposite of excellence. You can't be excellent at anything if you hold yourself to the chains of perfection. Who acts when they're trying to be perfect all the time? Who acts when they're scared of judgment or when you judge yourselves? You need to stay adaptable. You need to stay resilient and understand that you won't get it right straight away. You can be a master at something and still have your shins kicked in. Like, think about black belts. The first thing they get told is, great, you've just started your journey. When they get a black belt, because that's when the fun begins, you're always going to be learning. You're always going to be getting kicked onto your feet, well, onto your bum, and getting back up again to fight. So with that, I hope this podcast has helped you in some way or another. I hope you got some gems out of it. But remember, emotional awareness is such a big key to this, because it allows you to manage emotions that hold you back and recognize your triggers, because it's those triggers that lead to actions that get you stuck into your perpetual survival mode, which does not serve you, because that just keeps you playing old soundtracks that hold you back. So with that, Tom, shoot it off.
Thanks, Ruby. Thanks, everyone, for listening. I literally have nothing else to add for that. I think the last couple of minutes, they were perfect.
Thank you. And if you enjoyed this podcast, give it a 5-star rating and reach out to either of us. We love hearing from you. And I'm going to say thank you on behalf of Tom. I don't know whether Tom gets messages from you guys as well, but I do love hearing that you look forward to Tom and I every single time we pop up. I don't know whether it's because you get to hear Tom in his accent, or whether you actually like my non-eventful accent. I don't know. If you're listening to this and you think I have an accent, please let me know, because
that's definitely a perspective thing.
It has to be, because you don't hear your own accent. I don't hear my own accent. When I voice messaged some guy the other day, he goes to me, "Are you from Britain? Because you have a Pomish accent." I'm like, no, I would have assumed I have a US accent, because I listen to US people all day, not UK people. But I'll just blame Tom today.
No, I don't have an accent.
No. Well, actually, it's, if you have anything to ask, let me know. See you guys.